Hello YouTube and welcome back to Fire Gaming Project. So in this short video, I'm going to discuss the Crown of Insight, which you can see on the screen there. So this is a 5-star level up ascension material, talent level up material for your characters, and it applies to any one of your characters and for any one of their 3 skills: their normal attack skill, their elemental E skill, and their Q burst ultimate skill. Okay. And in this video, I'm specifically going to talk about, is it even worth doing it? Why should you do it? Who, what, and when should you do it, right? So I'm going to share my experiences only. And the reason I thought of this video is because I recently just did it. I literally just did 2 crowns today. So as you can see on the screen, I currently have in my inventory 8 left. So as of right now, the publishing of this video in 2.1 in mid-September 2021 here, we have available to us a total of 11 Crowns of Insight. I am not including the one that is technically listed on the new Sakura tree for a future level because as of 2.1, you can't get it yet. So that's probably the 12th crown that's available. Of course, there will be other events coming soon with crowns available too. I believe on average, most of our patches, our events give us 1 crown now per patch. I could be wrong, but there may be some that give us 2, right? So anyway, I'm a player that's been playing since the beginning of the game, pretty much. I started playing at the end of 1.0, at the end of Venti's Banner and that Battle Pass session, and basically from 1.1 onward till now. And so I've accumulated all the crowns. So lucky for me, the crowns didn't come out, I think, until either 1.1 or 1.2 events. Yeah, and back then, those crowns were called the Crowns of Sagehood, for those of you who remember that. Okay, and they were super rare, and they were only giving them out like, I think literally 1 per patch. So I think now in more recent patches, they're up to giving up 2 perhaps as well. So that's why, yeah, so it's better now. Because as we know, there's more and more characters. As I just said, every character is eligible for wearing a crown. They don't literally wear one. We just like to say that, right? And then, you know, their skills, any one of them is eligible for it as well, okay? So first of all, should you crown your characters? And there's no easy answer for this, but I will just say generally for the majority of players, including myself up until today recently, I would say no, you don't need to crown any of your characters. Similar to like getting constellations on your 5-star characters, for example, you don't need this. This will definitely still give you a skill damage boost or a passive boost or whatever boost it gives, depending on the skill, right? But it's not required in order for you to beat the game. It's not required for you to, like, you know, beat the Abyss or whatever, right? You know, like, you can still beat the Abyss. You may or may not get all 36 stars, depending on the strategy that you use, but you should still be able to beat the Abyss to your best ability, based on your team composition and levels and artifacts, talents, etc., over all that jazz, right? So there's too many variables to discuss there. But anyway, long story short, for the majority of players, you should not use these crowns. And the reason why is because it costs a lot of resources. As you can see on the bottom of my screen, I am poor. I have 600 Mora. So that's from leveling up artifacts today and also crowning 2 characters today. Okay, and I'm just going to show you on the screen which 3 characters I have crowned in total on this account. I have only 1 account, and I've only ever crowned 3 characters. And Zhongli was my first ever crown, and I only did it like literally maybe a month or 2 ago. I crowned his ultimate, so level 10, of course. I did not get him C6, he's only C3. Okay, so for me to get 3 more levels on this, I would have to get C5 of him. I'm not planning to, just so we're clear. It's not required, but I did want to crown this because I wanted the extra damage. Because I think bump, I obviously don't have it on screen here anymore from the previous bump to this, but the previous bump I think was like another 50% to this, right? So it was worth it for me. And I do, and you get a longer duration slightly, right? So for me, it's okay. Now, other people would have probably crowned his E skill, and that's totally fine. If you use him as a complete support character where you want to increase his, you know, elemental skill damage and also his shielding capability, right? So right now, I'm not eligible for a crown here yet, so it won't show that. But yeah, there's a lot more that you have to do, because if you want to crown, after you get +3 levels from a constellation, you have to get it up to 13. So this is not a good example, so let me move along to my next example. Ryden. I crowned her today. I crowned her alt, okay? So yes, 13 is the highest because I did get her at C3, okay, just for all intents and purposes. So this is +3 levels on her talent. So I did get her plus C3, and here she's at that. This only gave her a 50% bonus boost, I think, from the previous. It was 800, I think. So now it's 850, right? And moving forward, like would I want to, go forward and try to crown her other skills? I would. I wouldn't mind crowning her E skill actually, because it is quite useful for me. I like using it in tandem with other characters to create reactions. And in my other video, I just actually said that she basically power crept Fischl's Oz already, and that I do again. I personally like using Ryden Shogun with Yoimiya's quick fire and like, pyro arrows, right? So that's just my play style right now as of publishing this, so I like it. So I would totally go ahead and crown this. But then, as we know, we're also gated by La Senora pieces. Go check out that other video that I just posted as well, talking about weekly bosses and should you continue to fight them and farm them for their pieces. The answer is yes if it's La Senora, yes. Definitely yes. So, yeah. And then the other character that I crowned is everyone's favorite, Benny Boy. Did you guys know that early on in the game, no one liked him? Everyone said that A, his character design is like stupid, and B, he only heals up to 70%, right? And all that other stuff, and he doesn't really do much damage as a normal attacker. Well, that's because he's not a normal attacker. That's why I left him at 6 here as well. Yeah, like definitely he's used for his E, generates lots of energy and helps, doing like melting shields, etc. And this one obviously is the fan favorite. You need this to heal and to boost your party. So yes, that's why it took me a long time, as you can see. Only like as I've been playing for this game for so long, I've only just crowned him today, literally right before this video, right? So yeah, I mean, it's his skill damage isn't huge, but it's definitely a boost regardless, right? It's an attack bonus ratio of 119%, as you can see there. Yeah, so crowning this is a no-brainer, right? So these are just my personal examples, okay? Now, in this case, would I crown his E skill? No, I wouldn't. So would I be willing to bring it up to, in this case, level 12, which is equivalent to level 9, without any consolation? Yes. I would be willing to bring this up, but is it a priority? No, it's not. Will I bring this up further for his normal attack? No, I will not. Okay, and that could be another discussion for another day, talking about like talents and individual characters and what you should prioritize. I'm sure there's lots of those kind of videos floating out there, but I would like to share my 2 cents on that topic as well, with how I play with my characters. Yeah, so basically I have 8 more crowns left, and I've decided moving forward from this day forward, I will be working towards spending those crowns. And you might be thinking, whoa, why, right? Well, I'm like again, like I just said, for the majority of the player base, you don't need to spend your crowns or worry about that. But in my case, I'm willing to because like I might as well like enjoy my characters more and support them in that sense or just to max them out. Okay. So for example, here's an example on screen only of what it costs to crown somebody, and that just happens because I'm using Yoimiya actively right now. As you can see on the screen, I do not have any of her constellations. Okay. So she doesn't have the +3 as you can see, but I did bring her normal attack up to 9 and her E skill up to 9 because this infuses this with pyro arrows, etc. Right? And that's basically the majority of her damage. So as you can see on the screen here, it does give you, of course, an attack boost, depending on the skill, of course, and it does require 700,000 Mora, which is quite expensive, and 16 gold books, okay, depending on whichever character you're using. In this case, it's a scroll, but and it takes 2 of the boss drops, the 2 of the weekly boss drops. Again, check out my video about weekly boss drops. So basically, what I crown, for example, even though I love using Yoimiya right now, again, shout out to Yoimiya mains out there, would I crown her and give her a crown? I might. But then at the same time, again, I only have 8 crowns left, as you can see. So I have to really be careful now. So that in itself is going to be another video. I'm going to create a path or a plan, let's say, of who to crown next for myself. And maybe I'll share that with you guys as well, right? Because I need to have some goals in this game, right? Of what I'm going to do next. So that's basically my discussion about crowns. So who would you crown? I would say crown who you like using and who you want to power up a little bit more. What should you crown? You should crown, maybe not crown all 3 of their skills, maybe only focus on specifically the skills that you feel are most necessary to help your game or that you just want to see more damage from, okay? When should you crown them? I don't think that you should crown any of your characters early game or mid game. You should crown them in late game, especially if you're newer to this game right now. You probably don't even have very many crowns in your inventory, so they're very, very rare resources for you right now at this stage, right? If you're late game and you have all the crowns up to date, up to the game like myself, then yeah, you can probably consider crowning. Now I know some people started crowning already way before me, of course, and that's totally fine. Some people have their favorite characters. I saw somebody crown all 3 skills for Clee, who's one of my favorite characters from the very beginning of the game, right? And that's totally fine. If you love that character, crown all their skills, sure. But also you want to be smart about this. So don't go ahead and just spending the crowns frivolously because they are expensive and they're hard to get, right? They're expensive to farm for crowning, as an example here, right? You know, and you don't want to just do all 3 like that, right? That's a lot if you think about it. Like that's 3 times of all the requirements, right? So, for example, I'll just throw this out there. What other characters would I consider crowning? I wouldn't mind crowning Kazuha, maybe his E skill or his Q at some point. I don't know, maybe. Venti's Q definitely is the essential one that I think most people would want to crown if that's someone that you enjoy playing with and use often. I used him. I only got him on a rerun, so I actually my time with him was not from the beginning of the game. Again, I missed that first banner because I didn't start until basically the end of his banner. So really, my time with him is shorter, so I don't really have that much of a sentiment to like crown him right now. Not a priority, right? I love my Jean. I got her early on. I might crown her. Yeah, sure. And then Ganyu, if we were to crown like her normal attack, charge attack is definitely her main damage, so you should consider that. Or maybe like her ult, right? That those are definitely good things to crown. Child, for those of you who love using Child, I love using Child. It's definitely his E. His Q is also important as well, but definitely his E, because I use his melee stance a lot. That's his main damage for myself, at least how I play him. Some people like to play him as a quick swap for like alt damage, and that's fine. So you again crown based on what you use or how you use your characters. Hu Tao, I would totally crown her E because that's again it infuses her charge attacks and her power, and that's again majority of her power comes from there. Some people crown her alt because that just gives you more damage and you can do reactions, etc. That's fine. Again, there's no right or wrong here, but it's just how you use the character. So that will be something more for myself to discuss in the future. Just going along here quickly then, Clee, again, her majority of her damage comes from her charge attacks. If you have her constellations, then her E is also very powerful. The Q I would not recommend crowning because it's very random. You don't get to control where the extra damage comes from. Shangling, you should definitely crown her Pyronado. You should definitely go for this. Eula, you should definitely go for her alt. You should definitely crown this. Okay? And if you really love her, you should crown her E as well because her E gives her a mini alt. Right? Ayaka, if you love her, definitely crown her alt. That's the majority of her damage. Her E is not bad as well, and also her normal attack is not bad as well. So this could be one of those character situations where you can go ahead and crown all 3 if you really love this character and use her in a lot of situations, right? And I'm just going to skip a bunch here. You should definitely consider crowning Xiao if he's your boy. I know somebody who shouted out to me and messaged me recently on my comments. Thank you again. He really is waiting for Xiao's rerun. Again, I talk about my predictions for rerun banners for 2.2. Check that video out as well. Yeah, definitely. Again, with Xiao, his main damage comes from his ult, but his E is also very powerful as well, and his normal attack. So if he's your boy, you can go ahead and crown all 3, right? I think for myself, as you can hear already, I'm likely not going to crown any character to give all 3 of them crowns. I will probably just do one-offs here and there based on where their main source of damage comes from. That's just my personal experience. What are you guys' thoughts? Who do you plan to crown? What do you plan to crown from them? When do you plan to crown them? Are you going to crown all 3, or maybe you've already done it, right? Have you guys collected all the crowns already? I don't know. Let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. But please feel free to like, subscribe, throw me some comments, ask me some questions, interact with me. Definitely follow me on Twitch. I do go on there here and there. Feel free to watch my other videos and comment, etc. I'm fairly new at this, but I'm trying my best, and hopefully you guys will support me and you like the content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.